Here is a Soundcraft model D-Mix 1000 mixer, and some of you are now probably very confused. This is obviously one of these DJ toys. It's completely beaten up, so what the hell does he want with this piece of shit? Well, looks are deceiving. This is a DJ mixer, but it's a professional DJ mixer. This unit, back in the 90s, cost the equivalent of 2,500 euro, and it does have a lot of the features that you would also find on mixers used in radio stations, and it's a completely modular design. So you have these input modules. In this particular configuration, we have two microphone input modules. These are both mono, so we have a pan control up here. And then we have 6 input modules that give you a phono input or a line input. You can actually switch between the two up there. And these are all in stereo, so this up here is a balance control. And then the master output control is in the center. On here we have a stereo mix, but we also get a mono mix, and we get the crossfader. Now, the crossfader fades between A or B, and this is assignable. So you have these buttons on each one of the input modules, and you can assign these to be either A or B, or just left and right. So you can assign what this crossfader does. It's not limited to just crossfading between two specific inputs. It can be any one of these. We also have a DJ booth output. This in a radio station would be the speakers in the studio. So if you open any of these microphones, it'll mute the booth output so that you don't get any feedback. And you also have a headphone output right here. So it's a very capable piece of equipment. And even today, these go for a lot of money. Not this one, as you can probably imagine. Due to the condition, I got this for only 39 euro plus 19 euro in shipping, so a total of 58 euro. So I would say, if I can make this work, it'll be a great deal. Now, to make this work, I'm going to need a power supply. This doesn't come with the external power supply, so I'll have to make up something that outputs plus and minus 15 volts. The original power supply also outputs plus 48 volts, but that is only for phantom power of the microphone inputs, which I don't think I'm going to need, so I'm not going to bother with that for now. The other thing is obviously this has had a long and hard life, as you can no doubt tell by all the worn off paint. I'll have to see if I can repaint this. That would be great. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to tear this completely apart. Here is the bottom of the unit, and that is where all of the inputs and outputs are, with the exception of the headphone output, obviously. Everything's now flipped around, of course, so the mono inputs are now over here. There are the microphone inputs, XLR jacks, of course, and then we have some line level mono inputs. These jacks do something else. Labeled down here, insert. You have this sticker. The stereo modules, input modules, over here, these are your stereo line level inputs. These are your stereo phono inputs, and then this is one of the features that you would also find on the mixer of a radio studio. This is a remote start function, so this mixer can actually control sources and start them automatically. And then in the center, where the output module is, it all gets a little complicated. You can look at this chart. The master outputs are up here, XLR jacks. You have a mono output there, a subwoofer output there. That is a line level output for a cassette recorder, something like that. And the power input is up here. There is a grounding point. This is actually a threaded jack, quite heavy duty. I'm now taking apart the mixer, and to take out all the modules, you have a screw right here, and then up here you have these 1/4-inch jacks, which are held in place with a nut. But this is actually quite a nice and service-friendly design. The nut is made from plastic, and it can't be tightened down. So instead of needing a tool, you can just undo these by hand, and it all goes a lot easier. I like that. I now have the 2 screws of this module taken out, so I should now be able to lift this out. I guess, yeah, these are just going to pop off, so let's use this. Okay. A little bit of resistance. Okay. See, there is a... that's the wiring loom inside. It's one of these ribbon cables. So that's obviously a little bit stubborn. And this is what remains once all the modules are removed. Just an empty box. Well, the power connector stays in place, but it is socketed on the output module. That's where it connects. And the connector on the output module is labeled. So I can make a replacement power supply. And it turns out it has to be positive and negative 17 volts, and the 48 volts, but those are optional. Aside from that, there is this piece of insulation that it's kind of sticky on this side, so I would assume it used to be stuck to this side to provide insulation for the module in this slot. But the adhesive is not as sticky as it used to, so it won't stick to the side anymore. But some confetti will stick to it. So I'll have to fix that. But that's it. Now, this whole unit, as you can see through the spaces in between the modules, a lot of dust and debris, and also some moisture has made its way into here. This is very, very dirty, and it'll need a lot of cleaning. And here are all the modules. I gave them a quick first inspection as I took them out, and you can actually kind of see, like right here, if you look through the slot of the fader, right here it's black down in there, whereas on this module it's gray, it's just bare metal. And that is because quite a few of these faders have been replaced. And I hope that all the faders that are in here now are functional, otherwise I'm going to have a problem. I also found traces of other repairs, like on one of the modules, one of the op amps has been replaced. I found solder joints that have been redone to fix a bad contact. Various different little things. Of course, I'll first have to build a new power supply before I can actually test all of these modules and see if they work. It turns out this ribbon cable is in fact very universal, so you can move this output module wherever you want. You can also move it over to one of the sides if you want to, no problem with that. Here is the underside of the output module. As you can see, quite a lot going on here. 5 circuit boards plus this little daughter board for the crossfader. You can see how the ribbon cable works in connecting everything together. And right here is the power input connector. And that's it already. I'll now have to build a new power supply. I'm not sure if I'm going to document that on video. And once I have the power supply, of course, I'll have to go through and test everything. That will be boring. However, the aim today was to just disassemble the mixer and make sure there is nothing horrible inside. Like, imagine there is a puddle of Coca-Cola inside of there that's slowly but surely corroding everything. That wouldn't be good. But that's not the case, so I'm happy, at least for now. So, that's it. Thank you for watching.